okay, I'm not cheating on you, but for the next 3 years, I don't have sex with you.
Yeah, no. That would be impossible. Hey, look, life is not easy. Anything good worth having isn't easy, but add to that the complexity of being an entrepreneur, being married, having children. We have done a lot of things right. We made a few $1 million. We probably lost a few $1 million. We made some mistakes along the way, but one thing that we are really good at is relationships.
That's right. We have been together for almost 2 decades.
And we've been through hell and back together.
Yeah, we have. And we used to think that we were the only ones like us out there.
But, especially in our entrepreneurial ventures, we started meeting other ride or die couples that were going through the exact same things that we were going through. And they kept coming to us talking about advice and looking for solutions and really ways to help their relationship thrive. So we just knew there had to be a tribe of us out there. There's no way we could be the only ones out there.
We are getting real and raw, guys.
That's what he said.
Oh my God, babe. From dating to marriage to kids and even sex.
Even how to fight the right way.
We're going to be committed to being open and honest with you because we believe in your relationship too. Welcome to the Ride or Die podcast. Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show.
Guess what?
What?
It's our anniversary. Break out my terrible tone.
My terrible
Singing.
white boy rhythm, non-rhythm.
Let me see your little dance moves. Oh boy, here he goes. You used to have
That's it.
the swag even when you did that. What happened to it?
Whatever.
18 years with me, the swag went away.
Did I lose my mojo? Did I lose my
You didn't lose
swagger?
all your
I
mojo.
get my swagger back?
Well, you're kind of like a little old man now.
I am an old man.
Yeah.
I feel like a 50-year-old man.
Do you really?
I do. Yep.
I feel like I'm 40, but I'm almost 40, so.
We are in the thick of the grind, family, business,
I know, but for you to say you already feel 50 is like,
I know, but then when I'm 50, I'm going to feel 30. I know it.
Okay.
Kids are going to be working for us in the business.
And then I'll have a ton
We're
of
going to
gray hair
have
to
cheap
actually
child
show that I'm
labor.
50.
It's going to be amazing.
We already get cheap child labor out of those
We're not going to have to worry
humans.
about babysitters so much, so we're going to have like an extra gajillion dollars
Babysit
for
yourself is what I'm going to say. Babysit yourself.
For more extravagant date nights and extra vacations.
Ooh, an extra $100.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, what are we talking about this week? We're talking about our anniversary.
We are. We have. So it's actually next week, but it's very close. And
So this will be 18?
This is 18 years
Holy
together.
smokes. So like on April 18th, I'll start saying that we're going on 19 years.
Yep,
That's
as you always do.
Nuts.
As you always do.
We're almost at 20. We're going to have a big to-do for all of our ride or die couple fans.
So next year we've been together, we've been married for 10 years next year. So do we do something big when we've been married for 10 years, or do we do something big on our 20th been together anniversary?
I don't know. What do you guys think? 10 years married or 20 years together? Which should be the big hoopla?
Or do we just say 20 years together when we're 10 years married and just start adding an extra year
I don't
at
know.
that point?
I'm sure they don't care anymore. Let's jump right into it.
I just want to talk about our anniversary and like all these years we've been together and some of our highs, and I would like to skip the lows, but I'm sure they'll come up too. I mean, we have been through hell and back together, and I just thought it would be cool to just talk about it for 20, 30 minutes
I love
today.
it. Now, bear with me. I want you to imagine that you're a person sitting down to give 30 minutes or so of your time and attention to watch or listen to the show.
Okay.
What would you be hoping for, or asking nuggets that you would be looking to get out of this conversation about anniversary?
How the fuck did you make it this far?
How did you make it this far? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Feel free to put your questions in the comments. If we don't answer them on this episode, we will get them answered in the comments. How did we make it this far? What else would you be thinking?
I would be thinking, wow, Sam's hair looks great today. What would you be thinking? I would really want to know, like, wow, 18 years, you guys are still smiling. You get on the camera and do a podcast every week, so you obviously don't hate each other. Like, how did you do that? How did you get to where you are right now? How do you stay happy? How do you stay sane? Because, you know, there's times that we both feel like we're going crazy. So how do we stay sane? What else? How do you keep the passion alive? I know that one's always a big question. Can you think of anything?
I can't.
So if you were sitting here watching this right now, you would just be like, "Yeah, this is a boring topic. I'm out of here."
I don't know. It might just be like, I don't know. I don't know what I would be thinking.
Well, let's hit some then.
Okay.
How do you think we made it this far?
Patience, communication, sacrifice,
Teamwork,
making the decision and sticking with the decision.
commitment.
Not wavering, not being like, well, the grass might be greener on the other side, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we had times where we had 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
What, 3-year mark?
I mean, even earlier on, I think it was, but still, that's like, those are some really crucial times in our lives. And although we figured it out at the 3-year mark, some people are still figuring it out at the 10-year mark.
So I had a conversation with my buddy who will remain nameless this past weekend, and he's in his early 30s, which many people would say, oh, that's still young. And one of the things that I stress to him is like, stop waiting for the perfect person or to have the feelings and all that stuff. Like, you got to just make a decision because you aren't getting any younger. And I know that might sound crazy for anyone listening that's over 30, that's like, oh no, that's still young. I mean, obviously my perspective is slanted because I met Sam when I was 17. I made a hard commitment when I was 20, but we've always acted as if we were married even, before we got married.
But I mean, you were still a baby. You had all your 20s to live through. You easily could have just been like, I mean, what was it about me, or what was I doing? Or you can't just say like, I made a decision to be with Sam forever. I could have been a completely shitty girlfriend that never had sex with you, yelled at you all the time, and threw things at your head. Like, you know what I mean? And you could have just been like, well, I'm going to be with her forever. So like, well, what were like some qualities of mine or some things that I did that you found or saw as like opportunity that you could be with me till we were, 80, 90 years old?
It was definitely the fact that you had your stuff together. Like, we were young, so relatively speaking, you already had a job, you had a little management position, so that came with responsibility. You had a car, like you were living on your own. You had already been living on your own. You knew what you wanted. You knew what you wouldn't accept. You were just like, you were like a confident, outgoing person for 19. Like most 19-year-old girls that I was talking to were still just, the only thing they cared about was looking good and, where the party was. And they weren't really focused. They weren't really focused on anything more than just like fun, immature stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, did I know at the 3-year mark, like, oh, I'm going to be with this woman for the rest of my life? No, but I saw qualities, and I saw like you working at the Bryan House, taking care of these mentally handicapped like adults. Like, I saw the caregiver in you. I saw the selfless person in you. And that definitely was attractive.
Because you knew I would just like slave over you forever.
Yeah. But, I said I was moving to Florida and I was going to do the single thing, the college thing. And I didn't have to be away from you for years. I didn't have to, like many of my young 30 friends who still haven't, they really want the girl. They really want to start a family, but they're still, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They're still either waiting to check all the boxes or find the perfect person. So I didn't know that at that time that you were going to be the one forever necessarily, but I knew like life is short. And if I wanted to start a family, if I wanted to start moving in that direction, no like one person was just gonna, it was never gonna be like a big light that went off that was like, marry this one, this is the one, you know what I mean? It was more like, it was making a decision, and you had at least a lot of the things that I was attracted to and respected and appreciated, so.
You said like something about the perfect person, and then I thought in my head like, but what is the perfect person? Like, is it something you write down on your notepad, like she's gonna have brown hair, big eyes, curvy, big ass, and she's gonna be awesome, like Sam? Or is it like, no, I found a chick that is cute, I'm attracted to her, we have fun together, and she's committing that she's gonna commit to me like I'm gonna commit to her. Like, this is...
Yeah, I left that out. That was definitely very obvious early on in our relationship that you were committed to us. Like, you were ride or die before we knew what the hell ride or die was.
And I want to say that I think that was really...
And that's what I meant when I said, like, you knew what you wanted. Like, you weren't like, maybe I'll be with you. Oh, I'm trying this out. If we got into a fight, you weren't like, I think I'm going to go... we're going to be separated for a little while. Like, you didn't play those games with me. That was a big thing. Games. Like, I dated girls that played a lot of freaking games, and that was immaturity, and that was the stuff that was like I couldn't see myself staying with anyone long term if I got to deal with these games.
It's such a pet peeve of mine, and it was something that I demanded on your side too, that just like wasn't in our relationship. I still see girlfriends of mine play games with their boyfriends, and it drives me up I like literally have to like not talk to them about that situation anymore because it makes my skin crawl. I think it's like so immature. So it drives me nuts. So yeah, for sure, I was never into the games. Never, ever, ever. Mm-hmm. But I've always also been like really open and honest with you and expected that. I think we just both had our expectations so early on and really communicated them to each other about what we wanted. Like, I knew when you were younger that you had a drive and a motivation to do big things, and get on the train or don't come on the train was kind of like how you were about it, you know, just like I was like, well, I want a man that's going to be down for me no matter what, and he's not going to get a little, you know, bit of success and then, you know, run on to the next, Sam 2.0 or whatever, yeah. You know, and so like those things were important to me, and I do believe, you know, wholeheartedly the fact that we didn't rush into family and stuff like that really played a huge part to the success.
For sure.
I know not everybody has that ability to do that because they, have a kid. You know, I don't want to say it was whether it's planned or unplanned. Like, you have a baby and it's a little harder and you have to maneuver life a little differently, kind of the way that we've had to learn how to do it now, you know, because we have kids now. But I would say that for us, at least, like, spending 13 years together without children was huge for us. And then, of course, it had its downside when we finally did have children. It was such a blow to the lack of freedom, I guess is a good way to put it, that it really did throw us for a loop for a little while there. Not in our relationship, but just like the way we had to transition our life. So...
Yeah, not judging for anyone that's already had kids,
judging.
You know, had kids early. I have total respect and admiration for the people that they date for like a year. I think the stat is that people date for, on average, I think 3 years before getting married. Might even be a little bit less. And then it's like right into having kids.
Having kids, yeah.
That's awesome if you can do that. We chose to like double, triple, quadruple down on our relationship to make sure that foundation was super solid before we brought the responsibility of 2 other people into the family.
And I believe that brings up a really important topic for how we've been able to go so many years successfully, is just like, we've kind of had this like very, I don't know what the right adjective is for it, but it's almost like a very like just very dry surface level understanding that we don't have to have a serious conversation about like every single thing that's going on in our head. Like children, that's a pretty big topic. But I'll tell you, for years, it wasn't necessarily a priority of ours, but we weren't like ever thinking like never having kids. I was okay either way. Brandon wanted a family. So I knew at some point the conversation was going to come around, but it was just kind of like, there were times where like maybe I would get a little baby fever and I would just like lightly mention it to Brandon, and nowhere in his mind was he like thinking about kids at that moment in time. So I just dropped the subject and moved on. It was, and then there were times where like you were ready and I was like, no, we got like this and this going on and I'm not ready to be a mom right now. And you would just kind of drop it. And there was always this like mutual understanding on the really big things. Like we just didn't force things to happen, and I think that was a big important part of our relationship that really led us to where we are today too. Like you just can't force the other person to do things, because then you're forcing them to take action on things that they don't necessarily want or believe in, and now they're fulfilling not their dreams or not their passions. And we've done that on a multitude of topics over the years, just kids being one of them.
Yeah, and I think that comes from the lack of selfishness in our relationship. So,
but I mean, I'm a pretty selfish person.
Right, but you also are selfless when it comes to the unit.
Yeah, I
right?
got you.
And that, I mean, that took probably about 3 years to actually like really get serious about it for us. But that's where I think a lot of the struggle is for most people, the selfish act of, I want this in a partner. Well, that doesn't take into consideration. What about I want to give this, and this to a partner, regardless of what I'm getting? You know, it's a very different mindset. So I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but that's kind of a switch that went off in my head way early on, way before getting into, you know, the Bible and becoming a Christian. Was I just had this confidence in myself, in my heart, if you want to call it, that I knew that I had the ability to love the shit out of you, sacrifice the hell for you, and it was like, and I was going to be okay with that. And I just know that, you know, call it the universe or the law of reciprocity or whatever, that you can only give so much to someone. I don't care who they are, that's going to come back around to you. So we've had plenty of seasons where I've been, you know, the one maybe sacrificing more or giving more, and then, you know, and then when I'm not, she is. And we've kind of, I guess, innately figured out that dance, and now obviously we better understand it and can articulate it. But you don't go into a relationship thinking, all right, what am I going to get out of this? More than you should be thinking like, look, I'm a 30-something-year-old person. I've got a business, or I've got a great career now. You know, I have a house. I've set up this security. I've got this, and this. I take all these vacations. I buy nice things. Whatever. I have a lot I love kids. I've got a lot to give, right? I want to find someone that I can share that with. I want to find, like, thinking of looking for a partner in the sense of like, maybe who have I met that really needs these things, right? Like, okay, so you meet a girl, you know, and she doesn't have security, right? She didn't come from a good family background. She doesn't have like her career off the ground. Some men would be like, oh, she has this fault and this fault and this fault. I want someone who's just like me. I want someone who's also got their own business and, you know, got, you know, all these things. Well, what if they do? What the hell do they need you for? You know, you want to find somebody, I think, that you can compliment and that you can serve, and in return, you get to discover what else each other has to bring to the table. Am I making sense?
Of course you're making sense.
Okay.
But you always make sense to me. I tell you that all the time.
Selfishness is such a bastard. And I just see it. I see it more than anything. And I think I was selfish, and that's why we broke up at the 3-year mark.
For a week.
Yeah.
For a
I was selfish in thinking that I'm going to do everything for me because I want this, but kind of hanging on the excuse that, oh yeah, but you're going to benefit from it. So I'm doing this for you too, which it was too far slanted in what I wanted more than what you wanted or what we, needed. So once I made that switch, it really was ride or die. It was, all right, I mean.
And like you said earlier, I don't play games.
My best friend literally, gave me that term, ride or die. He's like, what do you got to lose? Ride it till the wheels fall off. So that's literally was my attitude. Like, no, I'm going to give it everything. And naturally, you gave me everything.
So I think this is a pretty light, quick question. But when we say ride it till the wheels fall off, like, I never really liked when you used to say that term. Because I used to think like it's almost like, what are you going to ride it till we fucking suck and then you're just going to leave me? Like, it almost sounds like there is a quitting point or something. Mm-hmm. So, like, how do you stay, like, happy and in love with me so that we're not at the point where the wheels are falling off?
The only thing that could make the wheels fall off would be infidelity or physical violence.
Me smacking you around.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's like I'm pretty straightforward in that aspect. That as long as those two things aren't in there, like there's not lying, cheating, and physical abuse.
Lying is really important to me too.
Yeah, then everything else we could work out.
Yep.
Everything else we could figure out, but those are just non-negotiables. So, a lot of people talk about, make sure that your spiritual beliefs line up and make sure your core values line up together. If you do that, great. But I'm a super simple person, and
well, but then how about this? You can.
As long as you've got those non-negotiables, we're.
Okay, I'm not cheating on you, but for the next 3 years, I don't have sex with you.
Yeah, no. That would be impossible.
You would just attack me.
Yes, pretty much.
Seriously, though, there's people in relationships.
Sex is obviously a non-negotiable, and that was something that was phenomenal very early on. So
and hopefully still is. You said
yeah, but I didn't have to discover that. That was like right out of the gate. Like, all right.
That's so
weird.
Fantastic. Well, that wasn't the same vice versa. No offense to you, but I guess that's a nice funny thing to let the audience know.
Oh Lord.
I don't really remember.
Can you believe this? She's just gonna put me on blast that I was like
but see,
17-year-old.
That is not as important to me as the way you made me feel. So, not like feel, but just like all the feels in my heart and stuff. So, Don't be all shy about it. I trained you. I got you all trained up. Got that mojo moving a little better.
Moving on. What else?
So let's talk about sex and passion, because I think even after 18 years, your freaking appetite is just it's mildly annoying at times. And there's a side of me that goes, Sam, like, you should be so grateful. Like, your man finds you, whether you're, like, I'm still losing weight and getting back into my best shape again. And he thinks I'm just, like, the sexiest thing. Like, I still turn him on. And so there's a side of me that's like, I should be so grateful. Like, but then there's
You're damn right.
And then there's another side of me that's just like, I mean, do you ever just need a break? Like, is there?
Nope.
So what?
You can get your break when I'm 70.
So what is it that I'm doing as a woman for you, since, like, your sexual needs are a little bit more heightened than mine are. Mine are a little bit more emotional and yours are a little bit more sexual. So we always have to be, like, hating on those topics for each other. So let's hit the sexual first, then we'll go to the emotional. So sexually, like, what is it that I continue to do that after 18 years, like, you still have this desire for me where, like, your eyes don't want, not that you don't see an attractive woman and
my eyes don't wander,
but your eyes don't wander, like, yeah, but you could see a pretty girl and you can say she's a pretty girl, but you're not like, you don't see a pretty girl like, I want a boner. So, like, what is that? I don't understand what I'm doing that makes it, like, just because I'm faithful or just because I take care of your babies, like, I I don't necessarily think that's enough reason for you to continue. And I'm not in the best shape, like compared to what you've seen me over 18 years. You've seen my body look pretty damn good. Oh gosh, jigglier is more like it. But what is it that like keeps you excited in the bedroom or wherever it is that we're having sex?
Okay, super surface level. Obviously, you're a beautiful Spanish woman, so you've got the assets. So
Literally.
You won the genetic lottery. So, I mean, obviously, it's not like I'm having to brainwash myself that you're.
Thank you, Mom. I guess
that you're, not attractive. So that does help. We did that whole episode on mental movies, right? So if you want details, you can go listen back at that episode. So, the fact that you're not afraid to walk around naked and give me a little show here and there on a very regular basis. Obviously, you're not shy in the bedroom. And
obviously, I mean, who says it's not?
Well, because we've talked about it on other episodes.
Yeah, actually, somebody just said that they watched our podcast recently, and they go, and she even talks about blowjobs. I was like, oh my gosh, like what brand new people that I just met. I was okay.
And then
got it.
The level of commitment that you've always had to us, like I don't have any insecurity that you would cheat on me or that your eyes are wandering, right? That would make me feel very inadequate very easily if you were just like, oh, did you see that? Ooh, and not giving me that attention. So you do the same thing to me, maybe not in a sexual way as much, but you do. You always edify me and build me up and, say great things. So the combination of those two things
Well, you
is
have
great
assets too, so.
Okay. And then
you just okay.
Finally, it's the fact that I just know this is not romantic. I just know that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Like, so therefore I don't have any temptation. I don't even entertain a pretty girl, a younger girl, a wealthy girl. Like, I know the grass isn't greener. I know how much work this took, and the thought of hitting a reset button and having to figure all that stuff out with a new person and with maybe different challenges, I'm all freaking set. So that makes it really...
My challenges are enough.
Easy, right.
Is basically what you're saying.
And we've already got all those handled.
My challenges are enough. We're just going to smile and keep the peace and find ways to stay happy because I'm already challenging enough, let alone...
You've given me 2 beautiful children. You've given me 18 years of your life, which is the most valuable thing that you could give to another person. And we have 80,000 photos in my iPhoto of memories and trips and time with friends and family and just, like, you just can't... I don't give a crap who the temptation is. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
This birthday of yours is that's going to be the literal transition from you being with me more than half of your life. More than the years that we hadn't been apart. Like, I know when we kind of like laughed about it on your birthday, like, oh my gosh, you've been with me the same amount of years, and you know what I mean? Like, we met at 17 and then you turned 34, but this year you're going to be 35 and it actually switches over to...
So that's why
you lived 17 years without me and 18 years with me.
That's why I'm really empathetic to people who are on this search, in my opinion, very old. Like, life is short. You just wasted 18 years before me. Like, compared to me, you already wasted 18 years to start looking for that person. Like, I'm sitting here on the other side of it going, trust me, don't wait. Like, just jump in the water. It's good.
How many people did you already have that might have been perfect if y'all had just made the commitment, right? Mm-hmm. Or for people that have been divorced, like, just 1 or 2 little changes in your marriage could have literally changed the whole game. Or it just, like, those things have always gone through my mind as far as like not that I sit around and contemplate leaving you or anything like that, but like the the thought of the starting over and the grass is always greener, like that whole thought, like I've never thought the grass is always greener. I've always been more fearful of that whole transition to have to start over and stuff. And I think that like it kind of sounds negative to say like, oh, starting over sounds terrible.
It's not romantic.
So I'm just going to stay with Brandon. But those are the thoughts that have taken me through my bad times, through my down times, through I'm frustrated with our relationship, or I'm frustrated with our lifestyle, or whatever the case may be. Like, those are the thoughts that have actually gotten me to push through the obstacles and push through the darker times. Is like, okay, this is bad, but I know Brandon and I will work this out, and we're going to get through this, and then we're going to be good again. And if I wasn't with Brandon right now, would I have as supportive of a person, or would I have somebody that is willing to fight through it with me, or would I have somebody that's being faithful? Would I have somebody that, even though I don't want to hear it sometimes, is being honest with me? You know, like, there's just these things that we have with each other that every relationship really can have. Honesty, respect, honor, all those things combined, that when you bring them together, and even in those bad times, you just think like, this too shall pass, right?
Because you're going to have bad times no matter if you
no matter who you're with.
If you find the person that checks all the damn boxes, I promise you, there's a few boxes that you didn't.
There is nobody that's perfect. That's the point. There's nobody that's perfect. You can just create a life with somebody that is perfect for you, and they're not ever going to, like, you're never going to be a perfect person, ever. And I'll never be perfect. And especially when we're complete opposites. Like, there's just things about you that will always drive me nuts, and there's things about you that I'm always going to love, right? Luckily, there's a lot more things that I love than drive me nuts, but even still, after 18 years, it's weird because people don't hear Brandon or I really talk trash about each other very often. I'm not about to start doing it today either, so sorry. But there are, like, Brandon could say it too, there's habits of ours, of each other's, or whatever, that, like, I know it just drives the other person crazy. But
stupid game on your phone.
Stupid picking your nails. What else you got for me? We could go through a few. I mean, it doesn't make me mad. See, like, it's like 18 years later, we'll laugh about it. Yes, I have this obsession with this stupid game on my phone, and I literally can eat up an hour of my Saturday instead of spending time with my family. I'll be like, oh, you want to clean the garage? Okay. And I'll just like be on my phone. But that's my mental way of shutting off, versus his is like, I'll just bury myself in more work, or I'll get into a book or something. It's just like, I know that drives him nuts about me, that I'm not like, let me get into some personal development. Because for me, I was never really like that growing up. I grew up in a super negative environment. And so I had a lot of reversal and self-talk. And like, to me, being a good person is a work. It's not, like, it's so easy for me to just be angry, bitter, yell at people. I mean, you saw a twinge of it when we were leaving Vegas last week. Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about Vegas. We got to stop in a minute and talk about this awesome trip.
Yeah, we're already out of time, so we're going to wrap up.
Maybe not then. When we were leaving Vegas, like, when's the last time you saw me snap at like 3 people in a 2-hour period? Like,
it's been a while.
Yeah, like on the way home. And he was included because he tried to like defend the person, and then I yelled at him for defending them. It was whatever. Then I apologized and said, you just need to butt out. Like, oh, you have my back, not, this lady's back. This lady. Stupid lady. So anyway, I think all these things are important to continue to talk about, and we're going to always be like drumming them into you guys, because we really love the fact that you come back every week to get more information about relationships. You're either really wanting change, or you're wanting to just maintain a good relationship, or you're curious to how the heck we do it. Whatever the case may be, like, we love doing this. We love taking conversations that him and I just have like offline and off camera, and just exposing it to you guys and sharing it with you guys. And we've had a good experience so far in the last, 2 and change years that we've been doing the podcast, and I just don't see us slowing down. I mean, things are just about to get bigger. We even have the t-shirts now. Check this out.
Special announcement. This is the first of 5 designs. This is the logo. RideOrDieCouples.com. Got to show off the lady. Oh, we got hats.
We got hats. Now, okay,
so if you want to show off the fact that you are a ride or die couple, and show off the fact that you have a ride or die team mentality, we got the shirts.
I'm
so
Ride or Die.
you can get them right on the website, rideordiecouples.com.
Can't get these yet, though. We're going to have to... I wanted to just... I'm a big believer...
If you buy one, I'll go and I'll get it printed right away. So
Okay. Just the quick disclaimer, because that's just the quality is important to me, especially as a woman. I can't stand getting those t-shirts that are too tight or too loose or whatever. So I just wanted to make sure that I ordered a couple for myself first and that I liked them before I, one, just assumed that everybody else would like them too, and two, like, potentially waste a ton of money buying all these shirts.
Stand up and turn. Can you turn around all the way?
I did turn around all the way.
No, you turned like sideways. So you're still not all... I think it looks better on the back than it does on the front.
I do too. And what I like about it for the girls is, like, I look normal from the front. It's not just like, I'm not a big design all over the place type of person. So for me, this is cool because it's plain. I can look in the mirror and go, okay, cute. I just got a cute little V-neck on.
But you know who's got your back? This guy.
Always. So it wasn't really all like romantic anniversary-ish, but I think after 18 years, don't always have this like spark passion every day. I mean, this is real life, and these like unicorn farts and rainbows and stuff, like, they exist when you create them. We have these moments, and we have them often. We still have these moments often. I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's always work and but they're happy.
No, but the purpose of this show is to be real and raw with them, not just...
We put in the work because we get a lot more pleasure out of each other and our life together than when we're not putting in the work. So for me, it's always worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, like, I know this is a total side topic. We should probably do a whole podcast about kids soon. But, like, our kids are freaking watching. And they are very observant. Very observant. They can tell when we're not getting along, which actually hasn't been for a while, thankfully. But they can tell when we're getting along great. They almost get a little like, ooh, about like when we're kissing, and we're a little careful about it because if we kiss like too much in front of them, then Peyton wants to like kiss her brother and kiss dolls and stuff. And I'm like, no, like, you're way too young for this stuff. So it freaks me out a little bit. But just seeing how like much love that they have, and then they want to like we give a lot of love to them, we give a lot of love to each other, and then we see them doing it to each other and them doing it to the people around them and them giving a ton of love, and just like random, like, Max is just so sweet. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. And like, he just like is constantly pushing out the love because he sees it all the time in the home. And for me, that's really heartwarming. And we don't know where our kids are going to be when they grow up, but God, I just hope that like the things that we're doing now set them up to be even better people than we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So happy early anniversary, my dear.
That's right. Going on 19 years soon.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. Can't believe it.
You're so silly.
Nuts.
I know. It is.
I'm going to title this episode Ride or Die Anniversary, since we basically just talked about us. But we gave you insight, I hope, and perspective that I believe will be helpful for you, especially the ones who are still looking. Like, you're in your 30s and you want to start a family, but you have no prospects for someone to settle down with. Buckle up.
Yep. Well, let's cut this off. I can't get all sentimental because, all the tears will start coming and I'll start doing like the ugly crying stuff. But I love you very much.
I love you too.
And
we love you for tuning in, sending us all the DMs, man. Some of the conversations that we've had on offline.
Well, online, but
on the offline are
on the line
are very heartwarming. I know this is making an impact. We have just scratched the surface on what this brand is all about and what we're bringing to you guys. So we just appreciate your loyalty and following and listening in each and every week. Don't forget to like the new IG for Ride or Die Couples, which is less about us and more of the just Ride or Die community and other couples that we see that are embodying that team spirit, at Ride or Die Couples on IG. And that's it. We'll see you next week. If you want a shirt or a hat or soon the book, go to rideordiecouples.com.
For 2 years you've been saying that. Or the book.
My editor is busy.
Yes, I'm busy having sex with you, you hungry sex monster.
Oh, please. You know that only takes like 10 minutes. All right, guys. Have a great week.
Better
We'll talk
than
to you
when we
later.
first started dating. Bye, guys.